Hey y'all. Happy almost end of 2023. Impromptu live because I'm thinking about my bookish year and I want to think about it with you. I am sitting here surrounded by crap, to tell you the truth. I have a haul from Barnes & Noble. I got some Barnes & Noble. Hey, DL. Got some of the books from their 50% off hardcovers. Hey, Ollie. There's just, books everywhere. I cleaned out my car and found a bag from the last time I went to Barnes & Noble. And everybody's posting their top 10. So that's got me thinking, like, what makes a top 10, Because it's not always your favorites, although it could be your top favorites. So I figured I would get on here and start rambling with you all. And you could tell me what you think. DL, I also kind of want to talk to you about your book. Even though it's always very tricky to talk with authors about their books directly. Because then I feel like I got to read them. And then tell you what I think. But I'm curious about because I keep seeing you post about your new book. I want to know how that's going for you. Hey, Laura. So I'm not on here with any specific thing. I am going to open these boxes that I got from the Barnes & Noble sale. Also, they usually do their 50% off in the store. And this year, the 50% off the hardcovers was only online. And then you had to, go in, or in the store, it was only 33% off or whatever, which I thought was a bullshit. But I kind of wonder if some of the stores get really overrun during those 50% off sales. Like the lines were super long last year and everything. So maybe they just didn't want to have to deal with that. What do you think, DL, about... 2, no pressure if you don't want to. Let's see. I also have that fairy loop that from December that I haven't opened. Okay. My daughter bought me a reading light for Christmas. I wonder if I have to get batteries for it. It's Saturday, DL. You don't have to. It's okay, because I know how it is. Oh, thank you, Ollie. Ollie loves my hair today. I put it up a couple of days ago, and I'm already, bugging it around the roots, so I know that it's not going to last very long, but I like the color of it. Usually I just go with a regular gray. Hello, Harper Michaels. Okay, so my daughter got me one of these kind of lights. Sunday is not a rough looking day, but I hear what you're saying. It's okay, no problem. You could just put on a scarf and come up here because nobody cares. Ooh, look. So, been thinking about my goals, my Booksta goals. I'm trying to find a good example. I'm planning on reading this in January because it's on everybody's top lists for this year. So I'm going to look and see. Oh, so if it were dark in here, I love it. She also got me 2 different multiple packs of teas. So all in all, and a pair of bookish socks. So all in all, my daughter did a good job of Christmas shopping this year. See, Ollie agrees with me. Sundays when you dress up. So when you said you look like you're like it's a Sunday, I was like, oh, you must be dressed fancy. So that raises a good point, DL, because one of the things that I was thinking about, and I posted about this a little bit ago, like I want to do more book chats, right? Because I used to jump on and like random, like, oh, it's a Thursday, oh, it's a Saturday, whatever. I feel like chatting. Somebody chat about books with me. And then it started to feel like I had to make it like at the right time, or I should always do it on Sunday at 2, like it should be a regular thing. And then like, do I have something specific to talk about? And like, am I wearing the right shirt? And so I started doing it less and less. And then my mom was here and she's nosy. Don't tell her that if she sees that. Don't tell her that if she jumps on. Um, and so then I didn't do it because, people would be listening to me. And so now I just want to get back to interacting with people about books more without like without overthinking it. And it is hard to do also. So that's what I'm thinking about. Like, how do I just get back to talking to people about books and make it feel less? Because I'm also so close to 10K. So I have been approximately the same number of followers from 10K for like a year at least. Um, and like engagement is down, blah blah blah, the whole thing. And so I've been kind of just not worried about it. I do like, oh, I lost 2 people, oh, I gained 3 people. Like I still kind of look at it every now and then, but I haven't been shooting for 10K. But I'm kind of thinking I kind of want to like 10K for my birthday, like do a 10K for my birthday push. My birthday's in February. And then like, do I really want to go through all of the work it takes to like do giveaways again? Like I hate giveaways. Do I want to do follow trains? All the follow trains have like 600 people on them now. You know what I mean? Like it's it's a lot of work to care about other people. That is your soundbite for today. It's a lot of work to care about other people, and I'm not sure that that's what I want to do like on a broad scale on Instagram. But I do like this idea of like trying to find those pockets of people that I want to interact with more like where are the communities of Instagrammers that I want to spend more time with or chat about books with, the people like Ollie and DL, who I always see your stuff. You're probably one of the people that I have starred, so like when you post something, it comes up, like, because we've talked or because we know each other's content or whatever. Like, how do I foster those interactions more and not worry so much about the broader, you know, I'm sure that there's at least 7,500 people who are following me that I've never spoken to. um, but back when I was doing more of that sort of like giveaway, follow train, um, doing more like brand stuff, like they followed me back then. So I don't know. I'm trying to think about like where do I want to be in 2024? Like, oh, I didn't post, or like, oh, I get to post, or I get to talk to somebody, or I don't know. Maybe I'm not making any fucking sense. I don't know. DL says, right, I never go live because I never look live appropriate. Right. Like, what does that mean? I mean, we're always cute, DL. That's the thing. We're always cute. So we're cute enough for Instagram. We're cute enough for live. We're cute. The things I wanted to ask you about your book, because this isn't your first book, right? And I'm not sure how many books you've written so far, but I've seen that you've been posting some of the quotes from it. There was that one quote, oh my gosh, that's like something like, yes, Serena, I said you were a lot of work, but I've got my heart hat and my work boots, and I'm not afraid of a little work. That quote, love that quote. And I hadn't seen you posting stuff like that before, so I was curious about kind of like how you choose which quotes and what it's like to have your words out there for people to see or for people to like repeat them back to you. Like that seems so, I don't know, mind-boggling to me. Okay, let me look in this bag. I think I know where this bag came from. Yeah, this bag came from Barnes and Noble the other day. Oh yeah, maybe I already talked about this one on a live. Um, because I had to go and get pinata for my book club. We're reading this in April, so I wanted to have all 4 January through April books. So I'm gonna put it back here where the other 3 are. See, there they are. All right, so then these were just random books. This one is like, um, it sounds like a cross between It, the book, because I never saw the movie, and Scooby Doo. So like these kids foil a master plan when they're young, and then they come back when they're older, I think. In 1977, 4 teenagers and a dog, Andy the tomboy, Nate the nerd, Carrie the bookworm, Peter the jock, and Tim, the dog, solve the mystery of Sleepy Lake. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Now, in 1990, the 20-something former teen detectives are lost souls. Plagued by night terrors and Peter's tragic death, the 3 survivors have been running from their demons. Blah, 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 blah. Um, a mad scientist concoction of H.P. Lovecraft, teen detectives, and a love of Americana, Edgar Cantero's Meddling Kids is a story filled with rich horror, thrilling twists, outright hilarity, and surprising poignancy. That sounds good as hell. Hey, Nikki. Okay, let me get myself together. I do love to talk books. Give me 10. Okay, do it. So this, obviously why I got this one. This is, and it was on the buy one, get one 50% off, which my boyfriend, who just logged on and is probably going to log off immediately, he just like jumps on and gives me hearts and goes away, is like, that's only 25% off, right? Whatever. But it sounds really good. I kind of want to read this quick. I'm currently reading, and I'm only this far, Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig, and I don't think I've ever read anything by him before, even though he's an author I always think I've read some of. And this one has come up over the last couple of months as something that everyone is sort of like, everyone who has read it has loved. And then in my Discord server, somebody posted the stupidest sounding sentence from this book. It was something like, it was cold like a carrot or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, this book is going to be terrible. But so far, I really like the prose of it and the imagery. And I, right now, I'm on board with why this author is such a favorite. Um, so far, the book is basically about a dad who is starting an orchard, an apple orchard, and there's something special about the apples, but we don't really know what that is. Although he has just found some baby birds in the tree with branches, 3 of them, so it wasn't a coincidence, stuck through their brains. So, that's all we've got so far, but I'm only on page 49. So this is going to be my last book of 2023, and it's a fatty 620 pages. So tonight and tomorrow. Nick, you just bought this one too? Okay. No, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. DL just went off to get her hair and makeup together so she could jump on this live and talk about her books. Okay. The other one I got in that sucker-tude sale that Barnes& and Nobles always gets me on is the buy one, get one 50, is Sarah Gailey. So this one is Just Like Home. Sarah Gailey wrote a book about, it's a trilogy, I think a trilogy of novellas that is basically the question of what if in the Old West hippopotamuses were domesticated instead of horses. So apparently in our ancient Old West here in the US, there was the consideration that hippopotamuses would be a domestic or locally, used source of meat in transportation. But because for whatever reasons, for many reasons, they decided that hippopotamuses was not a good choice. But in Sarah Gailey's it might be called River of Teeth or something like that. There are feral hippopotamuses in the Mississippi River because, um, if you've got animals, even very domesticated ones, you're going to have those that have not been, that don't live in close proximity to people. So, there are hippopotamuses. They're rabid. They're not rabid, but hippopotamuses are super scary. They're super cute, but now I've seen a lot of videos of them sort of like, because they don't even swim. Those videos where it looks like they're swimming is actually them propelling themselves in the water to chase people. That shit is terrifying. Terrifying. Anyway, Sarah Gailey wrote that. I loved it. I've also read another book by her. Don't remember what it was. So when I saw this on the 50% off table, I snapped it right up. Let's see. Home is where the heart bleeds. Come home. Vera's mother called and Vera obeyed. In spite of their estrangement, in spite of the memories, she's come back to the home of a serial killer. Back to face the love she had for her father and the bodies he buried there beneath the house he'd built for his family. Coming home is hard enough for Vera, and to make things worse, she and her mother aren't alone. A parasitic artist has moved into the guest house out back and is slowly stripping Vera's childhood for spare parts. Excuse me. He insists that he isn't the one leaving notes around the house in her father's handwriting, but who else could it possibly be? There are secrets yet undiscovered in the foundations of the notorious Crowder house. Vera must face them and find out for herself just how deep the rot goes. That sounds awesome. So I will be reading that. I want to read both of these really fast. I wish I could just like pour these into my head, like pour the stories in, pour into my head. But I guess it doesn't work like that, or it never has up to this point. And then Let the Woods Keep Our Bodies is another one that I just found in this bag. And this bag, I believe, was in my car maybe for the last month. I think that's about how long ago it was that I went to Barnes& and Noble to pick up that one book, and then it ended up with a bunch of other books. Oh no, that was longer ago because these are books that I picked up. I don't know. I'm going to stop trying to make things up. This one is The Dead Take the Train, and at the bottom it says New York is a hell of a town. And if you can see like this face and then these teeth things, that looks crazy. And the back must have made it sound good because I usually don't get a lot of books that are co-written by two people. I don't know. I just can sometimes like when I can tell the voices are different. But this one, let's see. Cassandra Khaw and Richard Kadri have teamed up to deliver a dark new story with magic, monsters, and mayhem. Perfect for fans of Neil Gaiman and Joe Hill. I love the cover, which is really why I bought it. And then we have The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab's writing, although sometimes her stories, like if you paid too close attention to them, there are gaps or holes that you're like, you should have fixed that. But, that's how it is. A new door opens. It sounds like this might be in the same world as the Darker Shades of Magic series, which I loved. So, no hate to that series. A new door opens. Once there were 4 worlds nestled like pages in a book, each pulsing with fantastical power and connected by a single city, London. After a desperate attempt to prevent corruption and ruin in the 4 Londons, there are only 3. Grey London, thriving but barely able to remember its magical heritage. Red London, ruled lately by the Maresh family, flourishing and powerful, and White London, left to brutality and decay. Now the worlds are going to collide anew, brought to a dangerous precipice by the discoveries of 3 remarkable magicians. There's Kosika, the child queen of White London, who has nourished her city on blood and dreams, and whose growing devotion to both is leading her down a dangerous path. Then there's Delilah Bard, born a thief in Grey London, who crossed the worlds to become a legend far from there. She's an infamous magician, a devious heroine, and a risk-taking rogue, all rolled into one unforgettable package. Having disappeared to seek a new adventure, an old favor now calls Lila back to a dangerous port to join some old friends who need more help than they even realize. Last, there's Tess, a young runaway with an unusual and powerful ability, hiding out in Red London while trying to stay out of the limelight. Tess is the only one who can keep all the worlds from unraveling, if she manages to stay alive first. So that is The Fragile Threads of Power. I actually want to go back and reread the reread the you know what I'm talking about. The Darker Shades of Magic books. So maybe I'll do that before I read this one so that I can remember all the things that were going on with Lila Bard, who is actually one of my least favorite female heroines in a fantasy series because she's someone who, especially in the first parts, which we understand her history, we understand her story. She was always doing things that put both herself but also her partner in danger. So it was like she didn't care that the things she was doing could get people killed. And I just don't like characters like that. Like careless characters. Hey!
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to make some room so I can set this up a little higher.
Hey, Dee.
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Oh no, that's too high.
Now we can see your head.
All
I
right.
talked DL into getting on here, even though she wasn't feeling live ready. No, you said not looking live
I
appropriate.
was definitely looking like Saturday morning. All right. Does that work? Can y'all see me?
Yes, you look beautiful.
Yay.
Hey, Donna.
I'm never on live.
I know. Well, and you participate, like you watch people's lives a
Yeah.
lot and you participate a lot, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen you. Maybe I have. Maybe it's been a while. Have
It's
you
been
done a
a
live before?
minute.
Yeah.
I used to do lives with like Black Readers Con.
Mm-hmm.
uh, but it's been a minute.
And
Mhm.
those are pretty well like scheduled ahead of time. Like they weren't impromptu. They were like
Yeah,
plenty of
yeah.
time, plenty of warning.
I never do an impromptu live. I'm trying to get figured out here.
Okay. We have no agenda. Take your time.
I'm just trying to. Hopefully, this doesn't fall forward. I'm just trying to get it high enough so you can see my face.
Someone sees a
All right.
Neverlist poster.
Yep. This is my girl.
All right. So tell me about your book. You were saying something about how you post about your backlist books.
Yeah, so that quote you mentioned earlier is from the Kwanzaa brunch. I forget what year that came out. It's one of my holiday shorts. So it's a little, like 8 chapters or something like that. Came out in like maybe 2019. So I just published book 13.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah, that's so many books.
yeah.
And it's all in the same, you said book 13. Is it, they're all like separate or they go together or they're series?
I have a few series. Book 13 is part of the Potter Lake series, which is a small town romance series.
Okay.
Potter Lake is a town I made up in Middle Georgia.
Okay.
And the town closest to them is Healy, which is also a town that I made up.
Those are the best
But
kind of
Healy,
towns.
yeah, Healy would be like, Healy to Atlanta would be like Athens to, wait, no. Potter Lake to Healy is like Athens to Atlanta, if you know Georgia.
A
So it's
little
big
bit. I
towns.
know a
Yeah.
little bit. My brother and his family live in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my daughter went to Columbus, whatever that is, whatever that
Right.
university is.
Yeah, I forget.
Uh, I know, and I should really know. Columbus, something, something university.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where they were in school before COVID hit and had to come home.
Yeah. Kenya said, "Come on," and I was like, "I'm looking rough, but
You're
let me
not
find my."
looking rough.
I was before. Before.
Yes, yes. 1 million black men reading. Head on, get your
This
do rag.
is
Hell,
Demetrius.
I'll go get. We can all get bonnets. It's fine.
Listen, on Saturdays I try not to get dressed if I can help it.
And
So,
you don't even
um,
have to.
yeah. So Powder Lake is a town I made up. It's a made up town in central Georgia. They live 20 miles outside of Healy, which is their big city, Atlanta like. But I do mention Atlanta in the book. It's like hours away. So, thank you, Jessica. She said my skin's looking amazing. It don't
Radiant.
look amazing in the mirror, but it does online. So.
Radiant.
Yeah. So, Powder Lake is like just like my little small town, like cozy little nook. It's like coming home for me. It's very comforting, and
Are you
I always
from? Are
those
you
books.
from the area?
No,
Were there pieces of the small town like construction or whatever that you pulled from yourself, or did you just make it all up?
I just made it all up. I love a small town romance. So like I was reading like Laverne Spencer and Robin Carr and especially Bev Jenkins Blessings series. Like those are all set in like a little small Bev Jenkins series especially is a little small black, like mostly black town. And they're all run by like a central figurehead that people really love and adore and revere. And that series started at Leslie's Curl and Dye, and it was meant to be a standalone. I was inspired by Barbershop and Beauty Shop,
Hold on, let me
and
write it down. Leslie's
yeah,
Curl and Dye.
Leslie's Curl and Dye is book one in the Potter Lake series. And that book is a second chance rivals to lovers about
Ooh.
two
Okay.
former college sweethearts who end up opening similar businesses in this town, and they're sort of vying for the affections and loyalty of the townspeople. The mayor in town is kind of a crook, and somebody needs to unseat him. And so Cade kind of talks himself into running for mayor, but he needs Leslie's help because Leslie knows everybody in town. They used to date in college. He left college to enter the NBA draft, and then they kind of like lost touch and fell apart. She's still very hurt about that because she felt like he dumped her for fame and fortune. But he has retired from the NBA, and he's back in Potter Lake, and he's opened this slick, shiny family salon. She runs like Potter Lake's hometown beauty salon. So now they're head to head. And because he is asking for her help to run for mayor, it's like, do they join forces? Like, what's going on with the rivalry between their shops? So I love their love story. It's, I love a rival to lovers and enemies to lovers, love all that. So that's book 1, and was not ever meant to be a series, but people kept asking about characters in the books, and here we are at so Home for the Holidays is book 3.5
Okay.
in this series. So book 1 is Leslie's Curl and Dye. Book 2 is Second Time Around. It is also a holiday short that is about Sage and Bennett, who are widow and widower. They kind of meet up in the town. Bennett is a handyman. He can fix anything, and I love a rugged dude, like a
Handy. Oh, I got it kind of guy.
Around, and he's got his tool belt on, and he's got his polo with the name on it, and his jeans and his boots. He's got like this raggedy truck that's got everything in it, and
you
like,
can hear it coming from far down the road. Yeah.
He's jangling, and he got a toothpick in his mouth. Love it.
Love it. Absolutely.
Just like a regular dude, just like a regular dude. And he has recently relocated to Potter Lake after losing his wife, and he's taking over this territory for another handyman that disappeared, and comes into Sage's shop to fix her coffee machine, big coffee machine.
Yeah.
And sparks fly, and so that's book 2. It's super cute. It's very short. It's like 8 chapters. Book 3 is The Guy Next Door, which features Yvonne, who works at the Curl and Dye from book 1.
Okay.
And Taj, who used to be in a boy band like a la New Edition, Boys to Men, Belle Biv DeVoe type of thing. But right when they were about to hit it big, he was diagnosed with cancer and had to drop out. But Taj is a songwriter, so every hit The Guys Next Door has ever had, Taj wrote it. But people don't know that he's still involved with the group. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of hiding out in Potter Lake. He's an RN. He's a male nurse. And Yvonne and Taj, side of sexism though. What? A rugged handyman. Oh yeah. She's saying handymen come with a side of sexism.
Sometimes,
a little bit.
Although I find that in the last couple of years, especially women writing those rugged men, they tend to be a little bit more like self-reflective, and even if they say things that are a little bit like, go back in the house, little lady, they kind of recognize that they're being jerks, and the sassy main character teaches them a thing or two about that.
Exactly. Those are delicious. So Taj is a registered nurse, and Yvonne and Taj meet when she falls during a storm in the parking lot at the Curl and Dye, and cuts like a big gash in her hand, and she is dramatic. So she runs right to the clinic, and she wants him to like sew it up, and he's like, this is
nothing,
very superficial wound. I don't know what you want me to do with this. And so they kind of like snip at each other a little bit, and they think they'll never see each other again. But Taj has a little guest house behind his house, and he's renting a room, and Yvonne ends up renting the room. So it's a little close proximity, landlord tenant situation.
Ooh.
And then I kind of got to play in that one a little bit because Taj was a member of a group, and as anybody knows, I'm a huge, you can't see them, but you can see the N and the star, but you can't see my little bobblehead back there, but NSYNC is back on this shelf right here. Well, you can kind of see. So I got to like play in my little boy band ish there.
Fantasies, yeah.
Yeah.
What
yeah. So that was
your favorite NSYNC song though, before you move on to something more important?
Favorite NSYNC song is It's Gonna Be Me off of
Nice.
the No Strings Attached album.
Nice.
Yeah, my favorite song off my favorite album, my favorite choreography, my favorite video. That song is it. That song is it for me. Every April, I just get to hear that song over
so much because people
over
think it's so funny, right?
Because of It's Gonna Be Me.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can never die now.
Oh my gosh. And like it's so funny to look back now on like Justin's frosted tips, you know, like the little things in his hair. And Chris, like all of them, I think.
My favorite. I want him to stop straightening his hair. Let the curls flow. Let the
curls go,
let the
baby.
Curls
we
come
know.
Back. Oh my God, his curls. His curls are beautiful. He gets them from his mom. I don't know if you've ever seen his mom, but they have the exact same hair, just a big mop. And it looks thick. It looks really thick. So I have a really thick hair. I'm about to cut it off. So I can imagine it's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
But
well, it looked like it was a lot of product to make it look like he put it in the videos.
A lot. So I miss the curls. I do miss the curls. But yeah, so that was 3, and then 3.5 is Home for the Holidays, which just came out like December 24th ish. And that's Reed and Sabrina. Reed has returned to Potter Lake after a long time away, a little prodigal son action. And then Sabrina is visiting her aunt, Kara Isaacs, who she's been in all of the Potter Lake books. She's like a Black Olympia Dukakis, if you know her. She's like Southern, sweet, spicy, and loves gossip. She just like sits in the salon all day, like.
So Olympia Dukakis from Still Magnolias.
Yes, yes, yeah. So yeah. So Aunt Kara is fun. Aunt Kara is very like spicy, very young at heart. She's always on the move. She's always on the go. She's very, come on, honey, let's go for a walk, and you know, that kind of. And Sabrina is licking her wounds. Because her marriage has fallen apart, in a very public fashion, and she lives in Atlanta, and she has escaped to Potter Lake to stay with her aunt for a while things sort of settle down, and the video of her husband getting beat up by his mistress's husband dies down. So she's hiding, and then Reed comes to visit his parents, who own like Potter Lake's most public, famous, well-shopped grocery store, Pinkney's. And I think in book 1 they describe it as like the Piggly Wiggly, like that's like Pinkney's in Potter Lake. And so his parents own Pinkney's, and one of my friends said, I think you should do a holiday short where a guy returns home and he like has a little tryst with his neighbor. And that's kind of the closest I could get to it, because Miss Aunt Kara lives next door to Reed's parents. And so they're both visiting parents. So like they don't have their own place to like have fun. So not only like do they feel an attraction to each other, but there's also like the tension of them like not being able to get away to like be with each other. So they're kind of sneaking around, but they're mid-40s. So, you know, kind of like we're full-grown adults, so we should be able to do whatever we want, but we can't because my mama is like 79.
Right. And you
so doing
still got to respect her house. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Right? Right.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
So let that be a clue. Let that be a clue that you should go get that book because there's a scene in that book that's really fun. I made my editor scream. So just letting y'all know, let that be a clue to run grab that book. It's fun. It's just like some fun, like hometown, small town, sappy goodness. And just like two people getting to know each other and having fun and, you know, like getting a second chance to love somebody. So, so that's my Powder Lake series. And then I have the Ruby series, which is Brunch at Ruby's, which was my debut, and Dinner at Sam's, which is the follow-up to that. And then the other series I have is the Black Diamond romance series. Black Diamond is another a man-made island that I made up off of the coast of Texas. Think like South Pedro, Padre. Yeah, Galveston, that type of thing. I just made it up around that area. So Black Diamond is kind of like my vacation romance series. It was not ever meant to be that. Beach Thing is book 1 in that series, which was not meant to be a series. And every time I say I'm not, look,
come on, Bonnet.
Here's what I was just going to say. Every time I say I'm not a series writer, Raymond says, DL, you are a series writer.
You're a series writer, yeah. Like, how many series do you need to write before you own that, yes, indeed, you are a series writer?
I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it to the end. I might have 5 series out there, but I tell you, I am not a series writer.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you're not a series initiator.
Right. I don't mean for them to be series, but they sure turn into them. I guess my deal is like if I have a side character, I want that character to be full. I don't want you leaving the book wishing you knew more about X character, and like it's a curse that the characters are so engaging that people like want them to have their own story.
Yeah. But you're putting all of that upon your reader, which is fine. We love to take the blame for you putting out more awesome things. But is there also a part of like you that doesn't want to let those characters not have their full life?
Is there a part of me that doesn't want them to be series?
I mean, yeah, like is the only reason you're writing them because people keep hounding you about it, or is there something for yourself in continuing the books?
I mean, if a character doesn't speak to me, the book doesn't get written. So it's people saying, you know what would be cool is if this could happen to that person, and if that idea has legs, it will start running in my head. It will start writing itself in my head. It might take a year. It might take 6 months. I mean, it might fester for a minute, but eventually that book will come out because it won't leave me alone until I write it. If the book doesn't have merit, like, you know, people really want to hear from Ebony, who is Yvonne's sister, Yvonne in book 3 and The Guy Next Door. I don't have any storylines for Ebony. Ebony does not speak to me. She doesn't live in my head. So I don't have any stories for her. So it's only annoying if people are asking for characters that to me don't have a continuing storyline in my head. Like you could give me ideas all day, but if in my head they don't sit down and start telling me their story, it's nothing I can do. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So yeah, but like, you know, the people that tell their stories to me, they live in their head. To me, the characters from Leslie's Curl and Dye are real. They're like my cousins. You know, all the people that I wrote this here, Esme, is real to me. They're real people to me. So I get sad when a book is over because I don't get to live in their world anymore. And I've told their story, so they kind of stop talking to me. And so it's like I used to know this person and now I don't anymore. So yeah, so I'm happy to tell the story. I have to actually sit down and write it though, and that's the rub. It's writing the story. Yeah, if I could if the stories could just magically come out on the paper, that would be awesome. But
Yeah. 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 Is there something like, I don't know, like sad about that?
Mm-mm. I don't.
About this
I
idea,
don't
like
think
they're
so.
people I used to know.
I don't think so because they'll always be there. Like once you start the story, they'll always be there. I could come back 10 years from now and write another Potter Lake book. You know, like they don't. For me, I don't think timelines end until the stories end.
Hmm.
I mean, they're always there. They're always going to be there. They're still sitting there. And like I wrote Leslie's Curl and Die, but in book 3.5, Leslie and Cade are in this book. Yvonne is from book 3 is in this book. Sage and Bennett from book 2 are in this book. And so the longer you continue with the series, like you have more characters, but everybody's got to come say hi. And like it's like they live in an alternate universe and you
Hmm.
can go visit that alternate universe anytime you want. So
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me
yeah,
to hear you talk about that and to say you're not a series writer, right?
right.
Because like what you're really describing is this community of people, and
Mm-hmm.
like these series are how your readers get to know this community
Yeah,
versus like there's these two people and I want you to get to know these two people and this place from the eyes of these two
yeah.
people. You're actually like, I want you guys to know about
The whole
Potter
all of
Lake.
the whole universe.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
That's a
I think I say
that's a
yeah.
series deal.
I say I'm not a series writer because I don't want to put pressure on myself
That I was
because
curious
the
about that. Yeah.
minute I start putting pressure on myself about writing a series of books is when I freeze up.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I also like when I set out to write a book, I don't ever think, oh, this is going to be like a 9 book
Oh
series.
my
I don't. That's
gosh.
not ever
That would be too much
that. No,
pressure.
that's never. I never start writing a book thinking, oh, this is going to be a series. Me in the meantime, I do have like a trilogy in my head, like a little 3-book series that I cannot get started because I am intimidated by
The trilogy.
the idea that there are 3 interconnected books that I need to write, and I just
Mhm.
like they're not even writing themselves in my head. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't. I just so
Yeah. I mean
keep
that
the
it's interesting, right?
to keep the pressure off
Mhm.
myself. I just say, you know what, I'm not a series writer. I write books in series.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
We could say that. We
Sure.
could say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
most of them are connected by location and not by family, not by a couple, not by this individual thing. Like most of them are location based, which
Mhm.
makes it a little easier. You can add a book to a series at any time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, and it also feels like because I'm someone who like I strive for like under promising and over delivering, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
like I only said I was going to do this one thing. So then if I do three
right,
things, we're all
right.
happy about it. But if I've decided not to do it and you're like, but I thought you were going to do 3 things, I'd be like, I never said that.
Yes, yes. Very much yes. So if I
So,
say I'm gonna write a 5-book series set in this a middle Georgia town, now I have to write a 5-book
five
series.
book series, exactly.
This is not a series. There are no new books coming.
Exactly.
But then I come up with like 4 books. You'd be like, I thought this
I'm so
wasn't
excited.
a series.
Exactly. It's easy. It's
Psychology.
easier to shine.
Psychology. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
So
that.
yeah.
I say
Yeah.
that at work all the time. I strive for mediocrity, and the thing is that my mediocrity is so much better than other people's level 10
Right.
that y'all think I'm great.
Right. My your mediocrity is someone else's going above and beyond.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all
Yeah.
about balance.
Yeah.
And it's also about me feeling like I'm in control of my own choices.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And then I'm not letting other people I'm not letting readers control what
Exactly.
comes out of my pen, what I publish, because nothing leaves my computer until I like it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to feel like I'm at the beck and call or the whim of the readers, because I am my first reader. I have to satisfy me first.
Mm-hmm.
So, hello, Celeste.
Hey, Celeste.
I think your name is
Are they all
Celeste.
indie published? Are they published in different
Yeah,
ways?
100% indie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all me over here. I'm
Do you like that? Do you ever wish that
elected.
you had other people to kind of like help with some of these other aspects of the work that you don't like as much?
Um, You know, I love publishing myself. Lately I have been like I used to do all my own covers. I had like one like really strong beta and pro writing aid, and that's what I would just put every book out. Like the last couple of books, I really wanna level up. I want my books to look good next to Farrah Rashawn and Reese Ryan and Cynthia Williams. Like I want my books to measure up when I set them, next to them. So I've been buying covers lately where I would normally do my own. I have hired an editor so that when you open that book, it looks pretty, it sounds pretty. Like nothing, like what is that?
Yeah.
Who approved that? Who wrote that? Like it
Yeah.
sounded good in my head.
Mm-hmm.
My editor's good at like, what did you mean to say here? So
Yeah.
like I don't even know. Quite honestly, I don't know, and I would never even question it if my editor hadn't said, "What's going on here?"
And a round of applause for the editors. I love an editor.
Yeah, yeah. So
I love it.
I don't mind having people on my team, but as far as putting the book out, that's all me. I like doing it. I like being in control of that.
Mm-hmm.
I like, I decide where my books are published. I decide how much I'm going to charge them for. I decide what goes in between those covers. It's my face on the back of it. It's my words inside of it. And I'm a control freak. So, and a very type A person.
Okay.
If it's not the way I wanted to have it done, it's not right. So yeah, so I love it. And I think my greatest fear about trad publishing is turning something I poured out of my heart onto the page over to somebody, for them to change everything and then slap an ugly cover on it.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna take me
Some covers are real ugly.
Real bad. Like, yeah. I won't talk bad about any publishers.
Ah.
Sometimes I look at covers like I could do a tons better than that on my own. Like, what is that?
Yeah. So for like if you were working with a publishing company, they would have final say over the cover even if you hated it.
Typically yes. Like sometimes you get input. If you're new to them, they'd be like, this is what the cover is.
Right. And really the cover for them, and probably for everyone, is about who they're marketing it to, what list they're going to put it on, what readers will assume about it when they look at it. So I understand
And
that, because that's probably
sometimes,
not the point of view of the writer.
yeah. Sometimes it's a white person.
Oh, I
That's
mean,
who they put on the cover. And like,
that's not who.
no. And like,
Yeah, but it's interesting because all
friends,
the, like in some Barnes and Nobles, all the books with a black person on the cover are in one section of the Barnes and Noble, right? So like,
yeah.
I totally get the cyclical nature of what they're doing to themselves.
Yeah. So I get nervous about whitewashing language.
Mm-hmm.
I have colloquialisms. I have dialect. I have like people speaking like black people do, doing things black people do. And I remember I had a beta read one of my books, and it was Beach Thing, and Wade said to his best friend Gage, said something, and Wade said, if you got something to say it with your chest.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not understand what say it with your chest means. And I said, my audience will get it. They'll understand. Like, but what does say it with your chest mean? I'm like, what do you think say it with your chest means? Like, say it like
For
say
real.
it with your chest. Like, be real. Why can't you just say be real? Because it's not the same. That's not how we say things. That's not how we do things. It's say it with your chest. And like, she just didn't get it. And I'm like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't want my work whitewashed. I don't want my work watered down. I don't want it pointed to a white audience. And I know for Big 5, 4, 3, 2, their main goal is to appease a white writer.
Right.
And my friend Angie Ott just jumped in here. I know she has read a lot of my books. She is a white girl. Like, white people be reading my books. And I'll love them for it, but I don't write my books for them. I write my books for the Black girls that understand what say it with your chest means. You know, so yeah. So I get real nervous about covers. I get hey Angie, I get nervous about language. I don't want you to transform my book from what I wrote into what would appeal to a mass crowd. My audience is niche, and like, even within Black readers, I write, most of my characters are seasoned. We over 30 over here. We have real regular jobs over here. We bed at 9:30 over here.
There's only so much foolishness we're gonna listen to.
Right. Ain't no bottle service in my books.
Right.
Nobody's nobody's jet setting. There's very few millionaires in my books. We regular Black people in this book.
Regular.
Right. Within Black readers, I have an even smaller niche of Black readers who read people who are over 30 and live regular lives. But that man over there is mine, and I don't play about him, and I have hands if you want to talk about it. And that's the element, that's the mood that I want to bring to those books. So I just, like I said, nothing leaves my computer until I love it, and when I love it, that's how I want it to stay. I wouldn't want to turn my books over to an entity that's going to take anything away from that. Thank you, Nikki. She says, I love that about your books.
Yeah. I love hearing about them. I will, in pure transparency, I haven't read any of them. And the biggest reason I haven't read any of them is because you and I interact on Instagram. And so I do have some hesitancy around mingling my like reader space versus my like author space, because I have had a couple of authors who come back at me after a review. And I'm like, I'm out. I don't want to. I don't accept books from authors anymore.
Making it weird.
I don't. Yeah. So
I think for me, I'm a reader first. I read my face off. I read 185 books this year. So like the line between reader and author can be like really thin for me, and I don't know how I manage it, but I do. I know people are out there reading my books, but I have an author account on Goodreads that I never look at, ever. I log into that thing like maybe once a month, or when I have a book to publish, because I can update like my author dashboard. I put my book up there, the cover, the blurb, here's where you can buy it. I'm out. I don't read
reviews.
I don't read my reviews.
It's a bad scene out there, DL. It's a bad scene.
I go on Amazon like this. I only look at the top, and like I get like maybe to the ratings before I close the page. I don't look at nothing.
Yeah.
I don't look at nothing on that page, because once like, to me, reviews are very important for readers.
Yes.
For readers.
Right.
As an author, I have a whole pre-publication process. I have an editor, I have betas, I have ARC readers, I have people that are going to say, I like this, I don't like this, this is great, that was awesome, I totally love this. Like, I kind of know what I'm going to get when I publish a book. So I don't need to be in my reviews like, oh, what do they say about it? What do they
Yeah,
say?
I mean,
What do they say? I don't.
it's interesting to me because, just like you're describing, that's the stage of production where feedback makes sense,
Yes.
and then but I guess there are people who might wear an outfit and go into a room of strangers and go, who likes my shirt? You know what I mean? But what are
Right.
you going to do? Are you
I'm
going to,
gonna be like, Jessica, does this look stupid? Like
right, you're going to
in
talk
my
to someone
bedroom, right
right?
before
Leave
I go out in
the
public
house.
looking stupid. I mean, like my rule for everything is don't have me out here looking stupid.
Exactly.
So my betas, my editors, my arc readers keep me from being out here looking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to know if something is problematic. Like I'd be using all kinds of words because I just write. But my editor will come back and say, I'm going to tag this for ableism.
Oh,
I'm tagging this
nice. I
isn't a
love
word we
that.
use anymore. I'm tagging this because I just feel like this just isn't a thing a person should say. And I'll be like, really? Okay,
Right.
fine,
And you
fine,
can agree or disagree.
fine. I won't be ableist, whatever. So those are things I need to
Yeah.
know before I publish the
Right.
book. And what I have loved about the editor that I'm using is I don't feel like she goes into it like I'm gonna tear this apart. Like
Yeah.
she's not trying to tear the work down.
Mm-hmm.
She is just trying to buff out the rough spots and shine the shiny spots. Let's both make this look pretty.
Yeah.
Let's both make this look the best it can look.
That's great.
And so I really appreciated adding a professional editor. I'm real late to the game because I know a whole lot of people have been paying like $800 to $1,000 per book to have the books edited. I'm new to that. If I had known before, but I like the idea of like being able to level up on those books, buying pro covers instead of doing them myself. Like sometimes I see a cover and I'm like, I can't recreate that. Like me and Canva for 24 hours, I can't recreate that. I'm gonna need that.
I love
I'm gonna need to
Canva.
buy that. Yeah. Oh, Canva is my best friend. I'm in it right now.
I love it. I love it all the
I
time.
love Canva.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did some editing like as a side thing on one of those apps where it's like find a random person to do a thing for you. And
Yeah,
I
like
and
Upwork or something.
yeah, Upwork. Yeah, it was Upwork.
Yeah.
And I got the work. There was one woman, I don't even remember her name, but she was writing sort of like a short story memoir kind of thing. Um, and I think she must have been older, but like she sent it to me as a photocopy
No,
with some
no.
handwritten things that she had written on it. And I was like,
Uh,
this isn't going to work for
uh-uh.
what you need from me or for what you're going to need. And she's
No.
like, oh, well, I was just thinking you could retype it. I'm like, that's not what an editor does, first of all. And some of these aren't even sentences. So like
Uh,
you're not there yet. And
mm-mm.
she flat out just didn't believe me. She's like, "No, I think once you go through it one time, it will be where I want it to be
No,
when it's
ma'am.
done." And I was like,
No,
that's
ma'am.
untrue. Here's what I agreed to do. I'll take my $100 or whatever it is." And she's like,
Right.
"Oh, well, would you keep?" Nope. I
Uh-uh.
no. And please don't
No.
add my name in a thank you section.
Oh, oh
I don't
my
want to be
God.
associated with this project.
I feel like people think editor means rewriter.
Some people
Like you're
do
gonna
for sure.
take my work and rewrite it, and no, no,
It was
ma'am.
it was terrible. It was terrible. Like lots of like pieces of sentences or like maybe there were some sections where she was just sort of free associating something that had happened in her life.
No,
Um
I need finished copy, ma'am.
oh my gosh, it was pretty terrible. I was like, at minimum, you're gonna need to type this for someone.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't think so. All right.
Wow.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
No.
it was very
Oh,
bizarre. It was very bizarre.
God bless people who do it professionally.
I know. I had three jobs on Upwork and I was like, I don't think that like I
Mm-mm.
my blood pressure couldn't handle it.
No. Do you, I mean, do you have a way to put like, here's what it needs to be when it comes to me?
There is a way to do that, and I haven't done this, and I don't have time for it now. But you can also like talk about it ahead of time. What do you got? What do you want me to do? And I think I was real bad, especially for that one, because and I'm pretty sure she was like my very first one. I felt bad for her,
Yeah.
and I know it was I know it was me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this little grandma really wants, and like the
Oh, honey.
story is about like this thing that happened with her kid who was in rehab after an addiction story, and I'm like, oh, somebody needs to help grandma, Mama Dia needs help.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like my mom. Like she'll have a great idea for something, but she wants me to write it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. No, I can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's and then especially, oh my God, if it was my mom, hopefully she's not on here, but whew. The roles would be too mingling up in there.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
My mom was living here, was staying with us for about 5 months, and I'm grateful for the
Bless me.
opportunity
Bless
to
me.
get to have more time with her in these later
And
years. And
we just
also,
pray
we couldn't get her
to
to
stay gone.
the airport fast enough.
Yeah.
Oh, Celeste says, me, I'm full of ideas and no means to bring it to life. Read, pray, read. Hello. Make sure I haven't missed any other. I'm thankful for friends and favors when I need something.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get a lot of people that don't read romance but like my books. And I think my books are like they're sort of be like they straddle the line between romance and women's
Mm-hmm.
fiction because, in the book I feel like the female main character, her story is always a little bit
Mm-hmm.
stronger. You do get, a little bit of a journey, her journey from beginning to end, how she changes, how, how she, I don't know, what do they call it, the story arc or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So hang on one second. I got to move the fan
Okay.
because it is like, it's 112 degrees in here. It feels like.
Oh my
1
gosh.
second.
That sounds terrible. I don't like being hot.
I'm nearing 50.
It's one of my least favorite states of being is hot. I will check the comments. Paperback and Pound Cake says Canva gives her a headache. But it's
I love,
so fun to figure out.
yeah, I just like playing in there. Like it's hard, you can't break it. So,
Yeah.
it's hard to break. So,
But if you could, I would figure it out,
yeah,
I'm sure.
right. Just, the worst you can do is delete something and have to recreate it. But,
Mm-hmm. I just have to
yeah,
always remember there's a back button.
right. Right. Nope. Reverse.
What
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
like getting in there. Like I see something, I'm like, I wonder if I could recreate that.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't, I buy it. So, yeah. But also, like, I see a lot of book covers out there, like pre-mades, that they want $50 for something I can make myself. So, no, I'm just gonna make that myself. I need something. I can't, I can't recreate. So the cover for Home for the Holidays, I can't.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't.
it's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. So it turned out really nice. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, and like you said, this element of stepping it up or like hitting the next level,
Yeah.
as you are doing more and wanting more for the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
And worth
Plus,
the investment. It sounds like everybody loves it.
yeah, tastes change, the market changes. What looked good in 2014 doesn't look good in 2023.
That's so
So
true. Yeah.
yeah. So
I also think it's a matter, you know, it reminds me, my friend who moved from up here, so I live in Rochester, she just moved down to be with her family, and they were getting their house ready to sell, and they restripped their wooden floors, and she was to sell it, and she was like, it's kind of sad because it looks so good, and we should have done this for ourselves, but we waited until it was going to be for someone else. You know what I mean? And I think that that
Mm-hmm.
is such a good analogy for how, you know, we just live where we live and we don't really bother to give ourselves nice things
Yeah,
until other people are coming over.
exactly. Exactly. You know, and I mean, I feel like people waited until the pandemic to like spruce up their home
Mm-hmm.
area because like before we were never home. We're always up, we're out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Then during the pandemic, you know, when we're stuck at home, everybody's like, it sucks in here. I need carpet. I need a couch I like. I need
Yeah,
bookshelves. I need
I need
like,
to learn how
I
to make
need,
a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I need all the comforts of home because here, like, I live here. Like, I'm always
Mm-hmm.
here. People working from home or living at work, basically. So you know, like maybe the last few years has really taught us to like kind of like get in that mode of like doing it for you.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you have to spruce this room up because you're trying to sell it.
Right.
Spruce this room up because this is where you live.
Well,
Like this
and like
is, you know,
we're, you know, like we are ourselves worth that effort and investment. You know, like
absolutely,
your book is worth that investment.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely,
absolutely.
yeah, yep. Give it, you know, give it the best cover you can, give it the best editing you can, you know, give it the best treatment. And when it's time to update that, you know, you have to update it for, you know, fresh eyes and a new market. And, you know, it's like, you know, self-publishing is way different now than it was in
Mm-hmm.
2014 when I started. I published my first book in March of 2015, I think. Right? Yeah, March of 2015. Publishing is way different now than it was back then, you know? So,
If you had to, I know this is a trite and cliche question, but if you could make a rip in time and just whisper a word of advice to 2014 new baby author DL, what would it be?
um, relax,
Relax.
relax,
Interesting.
relax. It's going to come. Um, the words are going to come. The concept is going to come. The sales are going to come. Relax.
Well,
Have fun. You know, don't like get, like, I think, I said on I recorded podcast this morning, Books by Dale White, Bookcast, this morning that I am I want to get back to experiencing the joy of writing,
uh-huh,
like writing because it's fun and writing because I want to write and not because I have
uh-huh.
to write. I don't write. I have a full-time job. This ain't my job. It's not my job.
Not your
This don't
job.
pay no bill. It pays for shiny things and it sends me on
I
trips.
love
I will love
shiny
to make,
things
yeah,
though.
you know, I will love to make a full-time income on my books, but I don't.
Right.
This ain't my job. So treating it like it's my job is just borrowing stress, borrowing pressure. Um, I want to like relax. You will never see me on the internet talking about I should be writing. I'm not writing. I should be writing. I didn't write today. I didn't write yesterday. Never.
Hmm.
Never. If I'm
Okay, so
not writing, I'm not writing. When
because
it's time to
you're
write, I sit
doing
down and
something else,
write.
you're doing something else, and
I'm
that's
doing
worth it too. That's also
whatever.
worth your time.
I'm, you know, I'm doing whatever I want to do. So,
So here's the tricky part of the question. What what do you think 2014 baby author DL's reaction would be to that advice from your older, wiser self?
she's probably freaking out. Freaking out. What do you mean relax? But also, I think back then I didn't know what I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So there was so much less pressure than there is today.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was going to come up against. So I feel like if I would go back and say, I need you to relax, she would probably then start worrying about what she needs to relax about because she had no idea, like, what is an ISBN? What do you mean I have to change my cover? How do I get my book from here to here? What do you mean I need to record this in audio? Like, like there's just publishing is so self-publishing especially is so complex right now, so much more complex than it was in 2014. She would have no idea and she would start freaking out probably.
So she was already freaking out, and then you would tell her to relax and she would freak out about the need to relax.
Because like what I said this morning on my podcast, and when I published my first book, I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I had if you told 2014 DL White that she would be publishing book 13 in 2023, she would have said, you are out of your mind.
I don't write series.
I didn't know what a backlist was.
I'm not a series writer.
No, I didn't know what a backlist was.
Yeah.
So I published my book and then people are like, what next? I'm like, what do you mean, what next?
What do you mean? Have a job.
I published a book. Like, when's the next one coming? Like, what do you mean next? What do you mean?
How long did it take you to realize that the one book wasn't going to be it?
Almost immediately. Almost immediately, because people kept asking me, so when's your next book coming out? And I said, I don't know.
I mean, you could have
nothing.
In all fairness, you could have said never. I wanted to write one book and now I'm done.
Right. Which was the plan. I'm just going to put this book out because it took me 4 years to write it. And then I tried to query it and agents were like, that's not for me. I just don't feel like I can sell this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this book out. I'm going to do it myself. It'll just be me and my mama reading this book. And that'll be it. I just want to put it out. I just want it to be out. And I published it. And then that was going to be it. I had no plan to publish more books. The idea for more books did not occur to me until after I published this book, and people kept asking me, so when's the next book coming out? And I hadn't thought about it.
There were no more books.
None.
12,
so
12 books later.
Here we are. Trying to really, like, my initial goal is 20 books.
Okay. Yeah. So we got 7 more books.
7 more to go. So my first goal was 10.
Okay.
The never list was book 10. And so now I'm making my way to 20. Who knows? After 20, like I follow people that are publishing book 77 since 2014. Like, I don't be writing like that, but if only.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine 77 books with my name on them. That's crazy.
But like you said,
crazy.
When you're writing, you're writing, and when you're not writing, you're also doing worthwhile things.
Yeah.
And there's something about the balance.
I'm listening. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's why I like the live thing instead of just because I also do YouTube, but there's no interaction in real time.
Right. Yeah. Or you could do YouTube live.
I could, but I like my Instagram people better.
I know. Yeah, that's the rub. It's losing engagement on Instagram because YouTube is a better platform.
I mean, I think all the platforms have their pros and cons, because I like TikTok also. And I think growth happens faster on TikTok. And so I thought about I should go live on TikTok instead.
Yeah.
But the people I like interacting with are on Instagram.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like my book community is on Instagram.
Yeah.
So
you need one place that brings everybody together so you can broadcast wherever you want, but everybody from all your places.
Yeah. And probably there are the one platform that you can use for streaming where you can do both Instagram and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah.
So there probably are ways to do that, but that's more than I really want to have to deal with on a random Saturday at
Yeah.
3:30. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll
It
just do
makes
what we
it.
want to do, you know? Brown Girl
Yeah.
Reading says IG is trash.
It is. She does not like Instagram.
But we are glad you're here, even if you don't like it.
Dee Dee has a really wonderful YouTube channel.
Okay. Oh, I
So
think I
good
might
as well.
follow it.
Yeah, I follow you on YouTube as well.
Oh,
But
great.
her channel is like so like peaceful and like so calming. She always has like really calming music, and she's like journaling or like putting together a
I'm going to
journal,
write it
doing
down just in
something.
case
Yeah,
I'm not. My goal for 2024, which is actually what I was planning to talk about, and you can tell me yours too. Goals for 2024 are really about interacting more because I feel like the more into the platforms, the less with other people. You know, like I'm spending more time on Canva or like creating content by myself or,
yeah,
you know, like that kind of stuff as opposed to talking with people more, which I think is more fun for me, you know, not for
yeah,
everyone. And she says,
yeah.
thank you, DL. Do you
You're
have
welcome.
any like bookish platform goals for 2024?
Not really. I mean, the podcast has goals, of course. Books by D.L. White has goals, but I don't have any like, um, like I want to be a big deal on Instagram type of goals. Like I've been sitting at 3,300 followers for
Yeah,
forever.
I've been sitting at
You
where
know,
I'm at for, and I'm
yeah,
like,
you know,
okay, maybe I don't care about
yeah.
that.
I mean, I would always love to have, new readers and a lot more engagement on my posts, but like mostly I post to amuse myself. So, I mean, I mean, if I post, a book post, hardly any, like I get some likes, but there's no engagement. There's no
Yeah,
conversation. There's no comments. Like here and there, Jessica will comment, here and there, but like I feel like I don't post for comments. I post to post, so it's
mhm,
there because now there's a record of me putting the stuff there. So when people look up my channel or they look up my account, it's there. Now they can look back through everything I've ever
yeah.
posted. It's kind of like there for a record. It's the same reason I have a website. Um, it's
Yeah, I
where I
mean
keep
it's a showing
stuff.
an activity and being searchable, which I think especially in
Yeah,
2023 is such a real thing, you know.
yeah,
And I have because I'm a psychologist in my regular life, and none of my bookish things have my name on them in any kind of meaningful way. And I
right.
have a Facebook page that has like my psychology sort of like life on there because people will look for you and I want that to be the thing that pops up if somebody
Yes,
puts my name in so
right.
that they stop looking for things I don't want them to be
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah, yeah. I definitely have a. I have a author account
Mm-hmm.
and I have a personal account
Exactly.
because I don't follow readers on my personal accounts unless I know you in real
Mm-hmm.
life and you just happen to read my books, as opposed to like, Emmanuel 6873. No,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot be in the same room as my mama.
Right. Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Right. So
So,
my personal
um,
Facebook, it has a whole different like alias name
yeah,
on it and everything.
it's a whole different vibe. And I don't talk about my books over there because they don't care. I'm gonna
Well,
be honest.
and that was really
They don't.
why part of the reason why I even created I started with a Facebook page like for books and stuff. And part of the reason I did that was because my friends on my regular page were like, "You post so much." You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my friend Jen once was like, "At first I thought I was on your page, but it was just that the last five things that came up in my friend
yeah.
list was
Or
your
book stuff.
stuff."
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
okay, so maybe I should just
yeah,
have a place for that
yeah.
so that
I post way more. I post about books more than anything else, books and writing more than anything else. If I post humor, it's bookish humor, writing humor. I mean, I post way more on my author pages than on my personal page. And I also I need that account. That's where I escape. That's where I get away from real life. Like I'm following like politics and city issues and like real life nitty gritty stuff on my personal account.
Right.
That's where I'm dealing with that. When I am over here in Bookstagram, I want to talk books. I want to talk writing. I want to talk journals. I want to talk author shenanigans and reader mishaps. Like this is where I like unfold. This is where I relax. This is my happy place. I don't come to my happy place to argue with you. I don't come to my happy place to go back and forth with folks.
Exactly.
That's not what I'm here for.
I will also block on my personal page. I will block foolishness so fast.
In a second.
I'm not. I don't have to do that with you.
No.
It's a much more curated for my own personal interest kind of space for sure.
Yeah.
And that's part of that being seasoned thing too, right? I was also like on my Facebook, I was like, are most people, when you have somebody who's talking foolishness, do you usually unfollow them or do you just unfriend them? What do you do? Like if you're on your personal Facebook, let's say somebody keeps posting things on their own page, not necessarily even at you.
Unfollow.
Unfriend or unfollow? Unfollow. So you leave them as a friend?
Unless it's egregious. What am I? Anti-gay stuff, anti-trans stuff, like just rancid beliefs about women's rights. None of that. I don't. Why do I know you?
Exactly.
Why are you in my face? Unfriend. I might block you for that because I don't want none of your stuff popping up from somebody else's.
Exactly. When somebody else comments, I don't want to hear about it.
What is that? I want nothing to do with that. So like unfollow if it's like just stuff like the man versus woman thing, like this dude said this and then this girl said that. I don't care.
So that's just an unfollow.
Like if you want to post about like Taylor Swift I don't mind you as a person, but I don't want to see that. That's not what I come here for. So I might unfollow them. Yeah. Especially on like if we're talking on Facebook where we can be friends, but we're not following each other. I don't need to see you pop up in my page, but when I want to DM you, I need you to pop up.
Oh, got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
But like Twitter, I'm a unfollow, I'm a mute type of person. I don't tend to block again unless you're just egregious, especially if you're going viral and like I don't need to see you popping up
notifications.
No, block.
Yeah,
block, mute, all that. I feel like I come to social media to have a good time. And when it stops being fun, I'm done. So I walk in and I arrange that situation to where it's going to work for me. I see what I want to see. I see people I want to see. I interact with people I want to see. And I remove people I don't want to see from my purview. So if that offends you, I don't know what to tell you. But it's not something I want to be looking at. Like that's how you spend your free time. And that's not something I want to be looking at. We are two roads that diverge. I'm going to be over here. But live your life.
Do you. Right.
Be yourself. You know what I'm saying? But I like to say, I don't need to watch a dumpster fire burn. It's going to burn whether I'm looking at it or not. So after like the first 3 reports of something heinous, I'm just not going to look at it anymore. I follow the news. If I need to know something like wildly important, I'm going to get that from like NPR probably and not from like Emmanuel 6879.
You really have something for Emmanuel 7689.
I mean, I'm following them for some reason. I don't know what. And like sometimes, like I be following people, but I can't figure out why.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
am I following you? Unfollow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's tough. And I also think about the fact that we, especially as a grown ass woman, right? If there's somebody in my life, in real life, that I find completely distasteful or
Mm-hmm.
constantly saying
Oh yeah,
bullshit or that I have to correct in a meaningful way multiple times, I'm not going to continue to engage with that person. I'm going
yeah.
to
I need to.
disengage with that person as
Yeah.
much as I can.
No,
I
they
do
need
this. That's how I am on
never have
social
access.
media.
No access to me. No
Right.
access.
Right.
Block.
And I've had that sort of conversation with friends on Facebook where it's like, well, I'll unfollow them because like Facebook doesn't tell people when you unfollow them,
Exactly.
but then if they look for you, they know that you unfriended them. I don't want anyone to be upset with me, blah blah blah. Like if it's
Yeah.
somebody that I'm going to unfriend, I don't care if they're upset. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah. I don't care.
I'm already disconnecting myself
Exactly.
from you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Be mad, stay mad. I don't care.
Right. Forever.
Forever.
Expire mad about it.
I don't know what to tell you. But I think for lots of people, those people that they feel like they can't unfriend are family. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got these people who are
Mm-hmm.
horrible people, but you feel like you have to stay connected to
So
them.
they unfollow them or snooze them or like,
Exactly.
I don't have like a family member that's being ugly. I don't need them on my page.
No.
I mean, I'm gonna unfollow you and you can yell at me at Thanksgiving dinner about it if you want.
Hmm.
I don't know what to tell you.
And I can probably, and if that were to happen and it hasn't yet, I could probably tell them the thing that made me unfriend them. Well, remember when you posted the bullshit about
Yeah.
women dressed a certain way are allowed to get
Right.
assaulted? I'm not. That's bullshit. I don't
Right.
want that shit on my page.
Yeah. Most of the time they
They
know. They
know.
know. They know they're kind of.
Although to be fair, there have been people where I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from this person in a while, and then I look and we're not friends anymore. So I'm like, I wonder if they unfriended me. I wonder what I said. Oh well.
Yeah. I mean, if sometimes it's like if you don't feel like you need to come to me and right a wrong, if it's something that I did, it's not any of my
Mm-mm.
business.
Yep. Then that was the relationship that we had. Same. If you put something and it's egregious and I unfriend you, then it's clearly not the friendship that I would say,
Yep.
hey man, don't do. I have had one person, I posted something, I don't even remember what it was, some woman, politics lady. And it was one of those things where she's like one of those politicians who looks really terrible. And it kept like posting like Gabrielle Union is 5 years older than this person, and this person looks like
Yeah.
super old. So like I
Being
posted one of those
ugly.
things, and a friend of mine was like, I think your post is kind of hateful. And I was like, oh, it seems like maybe we don't share the same kind of humor. Feel free
Mm-hmm.
to unfollow me. Like,
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Right.
And so then
This is my wall.
second time
Complain
she
about it on
the
yours.
second time she DM'd me to tell me she didn't like something I posted, I just unfriended her. I'm like, clearly we have
Let me
different
fix that.
ideas about this.
Let me go
Well,
ahead and fix that for
let me
you.
fix it for you. Because I posted something about a woman who was still breastfeeding her 8-year-old. So that was my kind of response, like, ooh, how do we think about this? And she's like,
Wow.
I think you could be offending people. Click.
Okay.
I'm okay with offending people, but
Right.
on my own page. I didn't go to
Blo-
somebody else's page. I'm on my
block
page.
me back. Block me back.
I'm on my own page. If you're offended, you should leave.
Right. This is my wall. Go complain about your.
Right. People are funny. The internet is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brown Girl
You
Radio
don't. I
says, gosh,
think
Facebook
feel
is
like
trash too.
you,
Sorry, I'm looking
you really
at her comment.
can't take it seriously. You can't really. you can't like I don't run a fandom, but I run a faction of NSYNC fandom to where I come up with all kinds of people that can't divine the difference between reality and being a fan of a person.
Uh-huh.
And like it's so overboard. Like you guys really got to deal with your parasocial relationship with celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't know you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
And while they appreciate that you really love them, you should not be crying because I said I didn't like his hair.
Right.
He don't care.
Right.
I promise you. He doesn't
Yeah.
care that I don't like his hair. Like, can we just like have fun for like a second? Like, are you really in tears because I said I didn't like his hairstyle from
That's
1989?
so weird.
Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was somebody on TikTok that was talking about. I can't remember if it was like a person who was an author or if it was like a movie person or whatever. But somebody, it must have been an author. Somebody who followed them on TikTok saw them in like a store, a grocery store or whatever,
oh my
and
God.
followed them home and knocked on the door just to say hello. And I'm like, who
No.
does that?
Oh my gosh. See,
Who does that? Like I could even see saying something to someone in the store, "Hi, I follow you," whatever. But they like she posted almost immediately after because she was so freaked out that this person had come to her house.
oh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. I
Like,
think I remember Eminem had talked about he bought a house right after he signed his record
mhm,
deal, but he never lived in it because fans would show up
mhm,
to the house all the time and like just hang out in the front yard. They'd be all up in the driveway. He's like, I've never lived in that house
please get
because
out.
people
Please leave.
people know where I live. And like he's like, yo, you wonder why people like get money and they move behind gates because people don't know the difference between real life and like they can't see that
Right.
line and like it's so that's just weird. Like you followed them home and
Yeah.
knocked on
They
their
they wa-
door.
yeah. They went to their house.
I remember
That's
James
so bizarre.
Charles. I don't know if you know James Charles. He's like a makeup
Mm.
dude.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
YouTube like young dude. He said like when he bought his new house, he said people I never have put my address online, but people have figured out where I live and they started showing up at my house.
Mm-hmm.
And like I watch like a lot of YouTube people where they like move and they're like, I'm not showing windows, I'm not
Right.
showing anything. I don't show like me walking outside. I never show my neighborhood because people will find out where they live and go to their
Yeah.
house. Like if I see a celebrity, I won't even ask for a picture because I just feel like it's
It's so
so
invasive.
abrasive.
It's so
Like I'm not
intrusive.
like, and then like run away, but like to go to their house,
Yeah.
what are you nuts?
It's
Oh my
it's
god.
so bizarre to me. Or even like the celebrities who talk about like getting into an elevator and someone tells them like, "Oh, I really liked your hair the other way." You know what I mean? Like, why do you have any input? Why are you giving people input? Or like authors who will post the emails they get from readers that are like, "I really think you should have done this character." Like, no one's soliciting feedback from randos on the internet just because you follow
Right.
them. Like, it's so
Right.
bizarre.
Right. Well, I'm fully I love that you are so into this book that like you're writing me about my character's fashion choices.
Exactly.
It's so much energy expended to share this opinion that
It's just
in
weird.
like in reality it doesn't matter. But
Right.
like like when it comes to books, like I feel like I'm always down to talk about my books with people. If you want to, if you read my debut novel and you want to fight about Maxine, let's fight.
Oh, was
I'm ready.
Maxine a terrible person?
Very terrible. Like she's my favorite character. I
Yeah.
love Maxine, but Maxine is materialistic and petty with a sharp tongue And I feel like she only has friends because these women have known her since she was a child,
Mm-hmm.
and they know the real Maxine.
Mm-hmm.
And in this book, I don't need you to like Maxine. I just need you to understand where she comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think people have been afraid to tell me that they don't like Maxine. I wrote her to not be liked.
Mm-hmm.
So, if people want to get on a live and you want to argue about Maxine, I'm all about it. Like, if you want to like dig real deep into the characters and their motivations and why would he say this and why would they do that, and if this person was that kind of person, I feel like they wouldn't have said this, they would have done that. I am all about it. Like, get deep into that world, because that is where you get your raving fans from. And like, if a person is a musician and they really dig a song and they're really into the lyrics, and I love this beat and this bass line is nasty, and like I love that. I feel like musicians love when people like dig deep into their work
Mm-hmm.
like that, but like there's a line.
Yeah.
There's definitely a line, and you have to draw that line at real life. You have to draw that line at walking up to Gwen Stefani and saying, I understand when you wrote that song about your ex-boyfriend and then made him play it in the band every night while you sang it. Like, I understand, because my ex-boyfriend, like, she don't want to be privy, like, you don't need to come that close. You don't need to come that close. Yeah. So it's a very thin line, but I feel like most people can see that line, and the people that can't see it are the people that make it dangerous to be like out in public.
Exactly.
And like, living your life.
Right.
So.
And like those, like we were talking about earlier, those authors who go after the reviewers for their opinions. Like, I
Yeah.
think that there are some people who see where that line is.
Yeah.
And some
They're
people
they're in a
who,
little too deep.
yeah, where it's like, yes, everybody has an opinion, but one, not everybody wants you to share your opinion or cares about what your opinion is, right? Like, there are things called inside thoughts or things that you share with people who know you.
Yes.
Not necessarily everyone cares.
Put it in the
Right.
journal.
Oh, I love telling people, oh, you should write that, write about that.
Write it down. Write it
So
down. Yeah. I
Brown Girl
think,
Reading says sometimes people are that way, so it's great seeing a character like that. So about Maxine, and nothing like creating those characters that get under folks' skin.
Yes.
I do also think it's interesting. I was just talking about this with my daughter the other day. Like, those characters who are written to not be liked, they've got to function in the story, they've got to function in their friend group, whatever. And they're mostly unlikable characters.
Yeah.
Or to the extreme, maybe like an author or a story that has a satire that's sort of like really poking fun at a particular thing. And then you have people who relate to them so much that they can't see the unlikability, or that they think it's like, the thing that comes to my mind immediately is like Fight Club. Like, the dudes who are like, oh, I want to be Tyler Durden, and you're like, that is actually the opposite of what he was trying to to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, they were
Yeah.
so into it, so I like wonder about those kind of characters and how some people relate to them in ways that are surprising.
Yeah.
because of how they are.
Like, if you're the type of person to love the villain.
Yes. Which I do tend
You
to.
just identify a little too closely with the villain.
Yeah, I do think some people are. To be fair, I'm pretty sure that isn't my problem so much as I tend to assume everybody's behavior makes sense in their own head. And we tend to villainize people for whom their behavior doesn't make sense in our head.
100%. 100%.
So I tend to go, okay, but let's hear them out, because usually people can help you understand what they were trying to do.
And I think sometimes the problem with a story is the author doesn't show you the villain's point of view.
Right.
It doesn't show you why it makes sense for them to be that way. Like I say about Maxine, you don't have to like Maxine. You just have to understand why she is the way she is. And when we get into the part of the story where you learn Maxine's history and you learn, the home that she grew up in, her father, her mother, like everything that happened from when she was a child up to adulthood. Now you get it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like
Right.
it, but you get that that's why she is the way she is. And I feel like people are kind of happy that Maxine ended up the way that she is, because she didn't become a pushover, and she
Mm-hmm.
didn't become like she didn't become a person that was easily swayed one way or another, particularly by men.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I feel like, in some situations, authors don't go far enough to show us why the villain is the way they are.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because I think that, like, when the Joker came out, which I've never seen it, but part of what people really hated about that, and there's this book called Jojo Rabbit, and it became a movie, and it's about a little boy who is recruited into the little kid Hitler thing. When the Nazis were doing what the Nazis were doing, they had the youth brigade or
Right,
whatever who were
right.
helping to go around and basically tell on people so that you know um and Hitler is a character within the movie, and he is portrayed as really silly by Taika Waititi,
Hmm.
and people really criticized it because they didn't want there to be any association of silliness or lightness
Hmm.
in his
Hmm.
kind of character. And like
Hmm.
with the Joker, when the Joker came out, some people were really upset because it gave the Joker a backstory that justified his villainy.
Yeah,
And I think for
yeah.
lots of people, they struggle because for them, they want a villain to be purely without
Evil.
humanity. Like
Yeah, yeah,
like there's no way we could
yeah.
have compassion for someone and also recognize that they act with
Hmm.
evilness.
Hmm.
So it's so like interesting to me sometimes how people really need either someone's a hero or someone's a
Yeah,
villain, as opposed to
yeah.
anyone could be in any of those
Fluid.
boxes,
Yeah,
depending on who's telling the
yeah.
story.
Like, yeah. Or like a not very good person that may have done a kind thing
Hmm.
doesn't make them a good person.
Right.
Like, he was still an evil person. He did what he had to do to get those
Mhm.
children on board.
Right.
That
Right. Right.
didn't make him likable.
Right.
That
Or a good
didn't change
person.
his character. It didn't change anything he did later in
Right.
life. It showed him doing what he had to do to get those children to do what he needed to do.
Right.
So it's
And I was just looking at that, and this is going to be, I shouldn't even bring this up, but I'm going to anyway. Um, I saw this video on TikTok where the author who wrote The Lovely Bones, Alice Sabores,
mm-hmm.
have you heard about this sort of
Yeah,
like,
I've heard about it. Yeah.
yeah, so she was assaulted when she was in college, and they arrested a man, and he went to jail for 16 years. And she wrote her first book called Lucky, which was about that experience of hers. And then when The Lovely Bones came out, it got really famous. And then a producer wanted to go back and take Lucky and make it a movie. And as
Mm,
he's reading through it and like researching the all the stuff that was going on at the time, he realizes that some of the story isn't matching up.
mm-hmm.
And so he hires a private investigator to look at all of the stuff related to the assault that happened, however many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that guy apparently had always said that he was innocent. He had tried to appeal even after he got out to get the conviction off his record, all of this stuff. And so this producer was like, this is really weird. Things aren't adding up. I will not do this movie with you anymore. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense. They took all the evidence and all the stuff that they've been gathering and gave it back to this dude's legal team, and they ended up getting the conviction overturned
Right,
because it wasn't him; it was someone else.
right,
Um,
right.
and they had used like hair sample stuff, and they'd used a lineup. And one of the things that didn't map on was that like she had initially done the lineup and fingered a different guy than the guy it
Mm,
was supposed to be, right? So that was one of the things. And when they were re-looking at everything, Now data is pretty clear that some of that hair stuff, like, and eyewitness testimony, like all of that stuff sucks. Humans are terrible, terrible, terrible at at knowing what the
Yeah.
hell's going on, right? So
Yeah.
he gets out. But anyway, so there's this video, and all of the comments are like, Alice, whatever her name is, should have to go to jail. And like, and the video says that she really was assaulted. She did
Right.
make that up. It
Right.
was that they got the wrong guy. And I'm like, I understand the rage. I think I understand the rage of this and how horrible that it was for that man. There's no evidence that she maliciously identified the wrong person. You know what I mean? Like, this idea that she should go to jail for an equal amount of time
Mm.
as a wronged victim doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Right.
I wonder if the police who were involved knew they had the wrong guy
Mm.
and went ahead with what they were doing anyway, because everybody just wants to get a guy, right? And it was a black guy, white
Yeah.
lady,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. But
They
like
just pick the
the
guy.
comment section is all about like how evil she is,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't think that's
Yeah. It's one thing
it.
like I remember Amanda Knox saying something like this, like people always identify it as the Amanda Knox case. It's not the Amanda Knox case. It is like we don't even know the name of the person who was actually convicted
Mm-hmm.
of that murder that she was accused of.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, this isn't the Amanda Knox case, but people like to attach a name to something,
Right.
and then like they just years later, it's the Amanda Knox case. So she's like, I'm really like trying to like step back from that. Like I was wrongly accused of murder and I stood trial and found innocent. It's not the Amanda Knox case. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like people need a shorthand way of thinking about things,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And they'll go with the first thing they grab onto and they will never see the correction.
Right.
The correction will never go viral.
Never, never, never. And so it's so interesting to think about how like legislators and stuff, like when anything bad happens, that is the perfect time to introduce new legislation because people will jump with their
Yeah.
emotions and not think about what their new voting strategies actually mean in the long term. So as soon
Right.
as you see anything in the news that's like a sensational case, there's
Mm-hmm.
undoubtedly some new legal proceedings that are happening in response to that because
Yeah.
now's the
Because it's,
time to get people to go for it.
yeah, it's fresh. 3 months from now, they will have forgotten.
Right. And so like when we look at like the voting cycles, you can usually see the media cycles having things that are related in these sensational ways, like when we think about gun control or police brutality or like when we see big stories about women who have hurt their children, often there are these legislations that limit people's really ability to be able to intervene in those cases and all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
stuff because now's the time that people are going to be willing to vote for or against something based on the
Mm-hmm.
headlines.
Top of mind.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me how quick we are to respond to things without thinking about them. And the internet is, fueling
Yeah.
the rapid availability of sound bites.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
went on a tirade there. What the hell are we
You
supposed to be
got your
talking about,
real
Theo?
life in my bookish chat.
Yeah, that's for sure. But that's because we were talking about Maxine.
Right.
I wrote down some of those titles. You also used a phrase reader mishaps that I really like, and I'm wondering how I can incorporate that into something.
Reader mishaps.
Yeah. You said it in a sentence.
Dee Dee, I haven't decided to read anything. I had some drama because I was trying to pick my last book of the year.
Mm.
Like to carry, like to count for
Yeah.
2023, and everything I picked up I hated by like chapter
Mm.
2. So I was frustrated. I got a lot of recommendations from Dee Dee's live. But like nothing, like I was just like reading books and like, I don't like any of these. So I decided to just be done. I also, there's a book that there's a book that I read that I didn't count at the time that I read it. And so once I finished because I did my whole rundown for the podcast, my year end, and I was like, oh, I didn't count that book. So now I'm at 185. I'm at an acceptable number for Kay the reader. It's a nice round number. So I'm just going to leave it
85.
at 180.
Anything that ends in a 5 is an
Yeah.
odd number.
Right, but it's
In the middle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
zeros and 5s are kind of okay. Yeah.
zeros, fives, divisibles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I totally get it. I agree
it
with
would
Kay.
have, honestly, it doesn't bother me, but it bothers Kay, and now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. She'd be okay if you didn't.
I would have been fine at 184. Now I'm at 185, which like sounds nice in the mouth.
185, yeah.
It's nice to say, yeah. So I'm gonna cool it at 185. I have a couple books in flux, but I'm probably gonna save them until January. Dee Dee's still at 151. At 51.
But are you gonna get to read another one? So you're at 52, though?
No, she's done. She's done. It's at 51.
Isn't there any little novella you want to read?
She's done. She's done.
You're just gonna let it go at 151?
She's at 51.
Oh, 51, yeah, like.
She's like, nope. She's done.
Okay, it's your baby.
I think Kay told her to go find something short to read, and she said, no, I am done.
Okay, that's fine. If you want all that bad luck, make sure you eat extra black-eyed peas for the new year. Ollie says I did between 16 and 30 each month this year and posting reels highlighting them. That's pretty.
That's a lot of reads, man.
And a lot of reels.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. I might do like a couple of reels a week because like I'm not a video editor.
Yeah.
But like it's something I can lay in bed and like play on the iPad, and like I go back and forth between TikTok and Instagram and pick up a sound or like a trend on TikTok, and like once it looks good there, I bring it over everywhere. Like that's if it's not something I can lay in bed and do while I am watching Forensic Files, I can't get, if I gotta get on the computer, it's not happening.
Yeah, I do like this whole sort of like lazy grammar trend where it's just like a video of you just sitting there reading something, but then it's a trending sound.
Right.
So
yeah, easy.
Yeah,
just easy stuff.
Done a couple of those.
Yeah, posting to be posting. It's a record.
Right. Yeah. Or like just having a video of you doing nothing but having enough words where it takes people at least 2 rounds of the thing to read the whole thing.
Yeah, all those little tricks. I'm not big on tricks.
Yeah.
I just I want my books to be forefront. A book, a nice quote, a link. Ta-da. So that's all you're getting. I don't like to put my face on socials because people on the internet are cruel, and your opinion will hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I just, it's, and then it's gonna pop up. I don't want to be looking at my face all day.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So I don't.
Whatever
don't tend to.
You did to get ready for this live worked. You're radiant. You look beautiful. I love print.
Yeah, I found this to go with my shirt,
and
that has
matching.
All matchy.
That's cute.
I cannot believe you got me to get on a live.
Yay!
You just do it. I am
Yay!
all about. I'm always ready
She's
to talk about my
like,
books. So
no, I don't want to. And I'm like, but I want to hear about your books. And you're like, okay.
okay, that's how you get me.
Give
That
me
and food.
10 minutes.
If you said you had food, I would also come.
That is the number one way to get me to do something is to show up with food.
What are we eating?
Yep. And people act like it's so crazy. Like I have a book club that I do that's reading plays. It's through a local theater. And we've been doing it, it's always been remote because it started during COVID. And so we want to do in January something in person to collaborate with a community partner. And I'm like, who's bringing food? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, if
You're not getting me out of my
it's like
house
if
unless there's
we're
food.
not doing food, why don't we just do it on Zoom? Why do we have to show up somewhere on a Thursday at 6 o'clock
If there's
if
no
there's no
food, I'm not
food?
coming. There is no way you're getting me out of this house
Like it doesn't make
unless
any
food is
sense to
involved.
me anymore.
It's winter. I don't come out of this house until the end of
Yes,
March
it's winter.
unless food is involved.
It's winter in Rochester, for God's sake. And for what?
Is it snowing?
It, it
Is it snowing?
it's been snowing. It snowed today, but it didn't stick. So it's been pretty warm.
Yeah.
It's been pretty mild. And I hope this is terrible for the orcas, but um, I got tickets to go see Hadestown in February because Ani DeFranco, is going to be there. And I'm just hoping I don't get snowed out of those tickets. It's such a risk.
February
It's such a risk.
in upstate New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see
We're
what
gonna
happens.
cross our fingers, positive thoughts.
Yeah. And really
It's
just has
pretty
to
much
be, like, we're not flying over. It's only a 45-minute plane ride to New York City, but it's 7 hours by drive. So we're driving.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's probably not going to snow in the city.
We've gotten trapped in New York for snow
Really?
before. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Because when the planes can't.
Yeah, yeah. If they can't take off, yeah.
And then the cabbies.
Fingers crossed.
Cabbies are
Yeah.
jerks. Where are you?
Atlanta.
I love Atlanta.
No snow here. It's been snowing in my parents' hometown. They live in Washington State,
Okay.
and my mom's like, "Oh, it's snowing out here." I'm like, 64 degrees.
My mom lives in Panama. And so she keeps sending me pictures of her thermostat at 92 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, that's too hot, though.
92 in December is a lot.
It's too much. Yeah. It's mostly the similar temperature all year round. It's either rainy or not rainy, is the difference between the seasons. And actually, it's also rainy all the time. It's either rainier or less rainy.
Right, right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
That would be nice though, to like not ever have to worry about winter.
yeah, I mean, and she's retired, so she's always outside
Yeah.
growing a banana tree or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be a nice retirement plan.
Yeah, so that's what
Is she near the beach?
They are not too far from the beach, but they live in a community that's a lot of expats. My
Mm-hmm.
stepdad was military,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, what branch?
he
I'm a
he
military brat.
was, oh my God, I was gonna tell you, and then you said it, and now I don't know. I'm gonna say Army.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. I am, my dad was Air Force.
Okay,
So
yeah, I have an
I'm
uncle
a
who was Air
military brat.
Force. I was gonna go in as a commissioned officer as an Air Force, but I was too fat, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
My dad actually said it was not a good idea for me because I don't like being told what to do.
yeah, but you figure it out. I don't like being told what to do most of the time, but it was a
He said,
nice
I
sign-on bonus.
just don't think it's a good idea for you. You don't like being told what to do. So I didn't. I have no problem with functional
Yeah,
authority though. So
yeah.
if
I mean, and
if
I would
you
have done
if
it
you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do.
right. If you're allowed to tell me what to do, I'll let you tell me what to do. But I'm
Right.
not just gonna let anybody tell me what to do,
Otherwise, go sit.
especially if my ideas are better than yours.
Right.
Why would I do that? That's stupid. And I would have done it because they were going to pay off all my school loans, but I was too fat, and they don't like fat people.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's okay.
I
It
didn't
worked out.
realize they had a weight requirement.
Yeah, there are weight requirements to get in and then to maintain.
Um,
And
mm,
I believe at least at the time, the Air Forces were the strictest around some of those
mm,
kinds of things. Although some of the fitness things are stronger for the Army, with
yeah,
the Air Force being sort of the cerebral branch of
right,
the military.
right. I suppose you have to like be able to go into combat or whatever.
I wasn't going to be doing that.
Can I not?
I was gonna be one of the people that got picked on by like the actual military people because it was after my doctorate. So like you can go in as a commissioned officer, and the people who like work their way up to that really don't like commissioned officers because they've had to work their way up to it. And so it's sort of like you were handed this thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think my sister-in-law joined after she got her nursing degree.
Hmm.
Uh, so she was an officer,
Yeah,
and they're officer Tanya.
exactly. And they like make fun of you because you don't really know the rules like everybody else. And I was like, I think I can handle it. And they're like, oh, well, actually, you would have to lose 60 more pounds. And I'm like,
Oh wow. Oh my gosh. By like
yeah,
tomorrow.
no, thank you.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it did at the time, but it's fine now. Well, DL, I am so glad that you agreed to be like
Me too.
into this live.
Yeah, I totally I have no idea what you plan to do today, but
I didn't have a plan. And then when I
just hopping
saw
on.
you, I was like, oh, I've been seeing all the things you've been posting about your book. I'm so
Yeah.
curious about that experience.
Well, it is good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And on with your actual face,
Yes. Bonnet and all.
bonnet and all. I know I kind of wish that I'd left mine in here so that I could have put mine on when you got on and we could have been
I
like
can't believe
bonnet
you
buddies.
you have me on Instagram in my bonnet. But
You
you do not want to see what's happening under here. So.
I'm peeking.
I washed and twisted it, and then
Oh, I
just
bet it's
it's
cute.
like so much hair. I just want to. I'm about to cut it off.
Really? Like to how
No, but
short?
I
How
want
short?
to. I shave it.
Are you gonna do it for real though?
No, no, but I threaten to cut it off every time I have
Do
to
you
wash
like
it.
it
It's
to
just so
be
thick.
short?
It's so thick, but I like. I no, I want it to be long, but it's so thick that I don't like. I don't know what to do
Have you
with
thought
this.
about putting it in locks?
I've thought about it, but I don't really like locks, and it's probably a little too much maintenance for me. So
Well, if locks is too much maintenance, I don't know what you're gonna do.
yeah, yeah, it's the whole you got to go have it
Yeah, but you only have to have it retwisted certain periods of time.
yeah. But my hair will like it mats
Mm.
up real fast. So like if I don't take it down, wash it, detangle it once a week, it will just be a Brillo pad. So like
Jessica says that's
I want to
exactly why I
go.
locked mine.
I'm probably gonna go get it braided.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go do some big braids and just leave it for a few months, and because it grows, if I leave it alone,
Yeah.
it'll grow. So
Yeah, protective style is
yeah.
nice. And I put my
What?
hair up like
Yeah,
this for a few weeks at a time so I don't have to deal with it.
yeah. What happened with my hair is like 11 years ago now. I had weight loss
Mm-hmm.
surgery, and when you have like a shock to your system like that, your hair falls out. So because of rapid weight loss, a lot of my hair came out, and when it came back, it's
like coarse?
and so like it's like back here is weird versus like this whole side of my head is great,
Gotcha.
and this whole side of my head is like
There's like
great.
different textures in different spots.
I don't
Yeah,
know what it's doing. I don't want to get like it's all natural. I don't want to do another relaxer, but like I had relaxers, and then I wore braids, and then I wore wigs, and I got tired of wearing wigs. What is going on? And then I would just get tired of it and just shave it off and like go back to like no hair, but I've been growing it for years. And this new hair, I don't know don't know what she's doing. So I wash it, I detangle it, I twist it up. On occasion, I wear it out, but most of the time, it's up in a bun.
Yeah, it's right. And I
We
think
gonna figure it out.
texture changes too. And it sounds like, yours is
Yeah,
like, hey, this is what I am now.
several textures. It's a tight coil. It's nappy. It's thick. So like I'm gonna figure it out because otherwise I'm gonna shave it off.
That's okay too. We're here for whatever you decide to do.
Yeah, if I show up on Instagram and I'm bald, I got sick
And
of
you
it.
have that cute little head. Like when I did my first big chop and it was like so short, my face was much thinner and it was so cute, but now I've got like a watermelon head, so I'm like I
Yeah,
can't I
yeah,
can't do a little short cuz it'll be like a balloon.
yeah, yeah. I don't like my face without hair or glasses.
Mm,
I've worn glasses like since I was
yeah.
9. I don't like my face with glasses, so.
Well, we all think you're adorable, so.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for
Yes,
having me.
thanks for coming
I
on.
need to go eat some
Same.
food. I've not eaten since I forgot to eat. So
Like all day?
all day.
Oh my
All
gosh.
day. I got up and I recorded the podcast, and then like I sit down on a podcast taping, and then I got on Instagram Live. During the taping is when I would have eaten, but then I was distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not eaten yet. So my stomach would like food.
Yes, go do that, and I will see you soon.
Thank
Probably
you for
on a
having me.
K,
Thanks everybody
probably
for
on a K and
joining.
Ray live.
Yeah, no, let's not be on until 10
Okay.
p.m. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, y'all. That was author DL talking to us about her books. Against her will, I made her get on up here. So I'm going to go too because getting food sounds actually like a wonderful plan, which means I'm going to save the books that I bought from Barnes and Noble and do that unboxing at a different time. Okay? See you next one.